Apparently, Charlie was rushed to the hospital by security. We know that he was still barely alive, apparently, in the car. I believe he died at the actual hospital. There was some news that had broken, that he was in critical condition.
A few moments later.
Second, there's visual timelines that show Charlie's body being carried to a vehicle within minutes of being shot. Apparently, he was still alive at the time. Again, I know that only because my security was talking to his security in the car. It was clearly politically oriented. Charlie Kirk was murdered. He was killed by a subhuman piece of debris.
So first he's saying that we learned this from the breaking news that he was alive in the car, and then he died in the hospital. And then now he's saying, oh, well, my MOSSAD officials were talking to his security team, and I knew this the whole time. Ben Shapiro has come out now and contradicted himself about one of the most basic facts of the Charlie Kirk story that he purported to know. Like, he said that he didn't know when Charlie Kirk actually passed away. He said he presumed it was at the hospital. He wasn't sure. And he was literally giving his own insight into what he went through the day that Charlie Kirk was shot and killed, and he lied about it. He's not lying about, what sort of bullet killed him, or, where Tyler Robinson was at XYZ moment on that very day. He's lying about, he can't even get his own story straight about what he was doing on that very day. And of course, now he's going to come out and just be like, oh, this sort of stuff happens. I just wasn't being clear. But this is your story, bro. What do you mean you weren't clear? Who are you not clear with? Yourself? Your memory? Did you have a lapse of, recollection of what you were actually, who you were speaking to in the very moments after Charlie Kirk was shot? This is crazy. Candace Owens posts this. Ben Shapiro just confessed on a show that Charlie was being transported to the hospital and bleeding out to death. Security was on the phone with Charlie's security receiving updates at the same time. Someone explained to me why during the minutes while Charlie was dying in the backseat of the car, Charlie's security team was providing updates to Ben Shapiro's team rather than focusing entirely on saving Charlie's life and finding the killer. I'll remind you that Brian Harpool, one of the security members who was in the car en route to the hospital, is currently suing me and is using Ben Shapiro's lawyer, who has sued me relentlessly on Ben's behalf for the last 3 years. Ben Shapiro hated Charlie Kirk. Everyone knew that. So why the hell was this demon receiving updates in mere minutes after Charlie was hit en route to the hospital? Who on Charlie's security team betrayed him in this way? I don't know. If I had to guess, probably Brian Harpool. Could have been any of them. And we're going to look in a second at, our suspects of who was on the phone with Ben Shapiro's security. His MOSSAD security, Ben Shapiro literally has MOSSAD, former MOSSAD, as his security. So we're going to see who was on the phone with MOSSAD while Charlie Kirk was bleeding out in the car, who our options are as to who it could have been. All of them raise the alarm, raise my eyebrows and, ring the alarm bell. Everything Ben did following the assassination made my alarm bells go off. I've told you guys that there's something about the Daily Wire and their relentless stalking of me following my firing that has made me feel altogether unsafe. I felt their obsessive focus on destroying me is deranged and increasingly dangerous. Let's look at this first. So this is a compilation of Ben Shapiro's statements and actions in chronological order from 1 day before Charlie Kirk was killed to the present. Let's take a look at this first. So here first we have September 9th, 1 day before the assassination. You guys remember this infamous interview that Charlie conducted with Ben Shapiro. And you're going to see in a second, apparently, that Andrew Colvett said that Charlie Kirk didn't even want to do this interview. Like, he was pissed off that Ben Shapiro was booked for this interview. So let's watch.
Israel bombed Qatar, which houses a lot of Hamas officials. What happened here? And if I were to introduce just a skeptical question, will this potentially endanger America's own interests in the Middle East? So please, Ben, help me better understand the situation.
If you don't mind, can you just say something about what the day itself was like?
2 days after the assassination.
For you?
Yeah. Well,
it can be brief.
Yeah, I know. It's So the day before, actually, I had booked an interview for him that he was not super pleased that I booked for him, but there was a good reason for doing it. But he was like, you know what? I'm tired now, and I want to focus on the tour tomorrow. So you're gonna guest host the show tomorrow.
Charlie's.
And guess what? Andrew Colvett, who, by the way, is in all likelihood the reason why Charlie Kirk established a doge for TPUSA months before his assassination. Andrew Colvett did not host the show that day. As we now know, Charlie hosted the show, had that infamous conversation with Ben Shapiro. So here we go. This is November 9th. Or sorry, this is November 11th. One day after Charlie's assassination, this is...
Voice is not silent. We're going to pick up that bloodstained microphone where Charlie left it.
You know, we couldn't be, frankly, more honored to join you guys as much as we can in the fight.
Thank you for that, and thank you for donating the Daily Wire $1 million. Breaking news on this show. Thank you guys for honoring Charlie so well today. God bless you.
For example, Candace Owens. I think that what Candace Owens is doing right now is evil. It is evil what she is doing right now. Okay, and I say that again.
But what? Because like I didn't opine on whether it's evil or not, but my position is it's really none of my business. And
why is it? But I have a question. Why is it none of your business? I mean, you comment on these things for a living.
I'm not mother of the internet.
No, but if this were on the left and somebody were accusing Charlie Kirk of his wife having murdered him, I assume that you would be talking about it.
Is that what Candace is accusing Erica of?
Yes. When Candace Owens says, "I don't know, but I know," that is retarded, and we are all more retarded for having heard it.
Follow a hive mind, yes, queen. Underground, communists. Mormons live in Utah. I watched The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I know what's going on here.
After all, your personal business is our business.
This is the weirdest one of all. Daily Wire reactivates Candace's old social media accounts and posts a video which ominously depicts a plane bursting into flames with the words, "Wherever you travel, we will follow."
Is our motto, Egyptian Air. Wherever you travel, we will follow.
I need to take a breath here, because what I'm about to discuss is significantly more serious and truly troubling. Candace Owens, as you may have heard me refer at the top of the show, is an evil, twisted human being.
At the bottom of that lawsuit from Brian Harpole, it lists a Jacob William Roth, a partner of the firm, who also happens to be Ben Shapiro's brother-in-law.
I remember where I was when all this was happening. I was in Los Angeles. I had sort of a breakfast/lunch meeting with somebody. And I got the news that Charlie had been shot, and my security was on the phone with Charlie's security because nobody knew what the hell was going on, while Charlie was still in the back of the car, and we were sort of getting updates along the way.
That's crazy for a number of reasons, because there are old clips floating around where Ben Shapiro was talking about this just days after the assassination took place. In fact, maybe I can pull it up for you real quick. And he was saying that no one knew what was going on. It was just crazy. No one knew if he was alive or dead. And then now he's saying, oh, well, I was getting updates along the way, and my security was talking to his security. Yeah, here we go. Take a look at this. Take a look at this. Tell me if this does not seem more than a little bit strange to you. So here we have, on September 10th, 2025, the day Charlie Kirk was assassinated, Ben Shapiro said the public learned Charlie was in critical condition through the breaking news, and then he changes his story.
Apparently, Charlie was rushed to the hospital by security. We know that he was still barely alive, apparently, in the car. I believe he died at the actual hospital. There's some news that had broken, that he was in critical condition.
A few moments later.
Second, there's visual timelines that show Charlie's body being carried to a vehicle within minutes of being shot. Apparently, he was still alive at the time. Again, I know that only because my security was talking to his security in the car. It was clearly politically oriented. Charlie Kirk was murdered. He was killed by a subhuman piece of debris.
So first he's saying that we learned this from the breaking news that he was alive in the car, and then he died in the hospital. And then now he's saying, oh, well, my MOSSAD officials were talking to his security team, and I knew this the whole time. More than a little bit strange. Let's listen to this from Candace. She breaks it down and gives us a very detailed understanding of who was in the car with Charlie and who may be responsible for making these phone calls.
Somebody make that make sense. Go ahead. You're going to have to become a conspiracy theorist to make that make sense. This is the enemy of Charlie Kirk is telling you that he was receiving live updates during 7 minutes, critical minutes, while Charlie was bleeding in the backseat, while Brian Harpole, let's go back and actually show our diagram. Brian Harpole stipulates that it couldn't have been him that was writing those updates because he was just packing like 40 feet of gauze into Charlie's neck. And it couldn't have been Rick Cutler because Rick Cutler had him. He had the tattoo. He was holding his brother.
Okay. So Dan Flood, we all know, is sus as hell. Brian Harpole, objectively the most sus. Frank Turek, extremely sus. Rick Cutler, I don't know who that guy is. Justin Davis, is that the guy that filmed the selfie video of himself? I don't know who that is. I doubt that's who that is. But I don't know these two guys. Maybe you guys could inform me a little bit more. But these three guys, I would be willing to bet it was one of them on the phone.
He saw the tattoo with two hands because the door was wide open because Charlie's so tall he was hanging out, and there's evidence of that because they caught a police tail. Then we have Frank Turek. Now, his story, I will say, is a little complicated. We are told he was praying in the backseat, but also Frank says that he started CPR, but Brian Harpole says no such thing took place because CPR would have been the wrong thing to do while he was bleeding. Gets a little... Frank Turek is an option, for sure. Yeah, Frank Turek is an option of someone who could have been statusing Ben Shapiro's security during this time. We've got Dan.
Wait. One of these guys is like the guy that all those people were saying the palm gun thing. This guy here, I think. I don't believe that, but that's kind of funny. That's crazy, actually. I don't know. I the whole like microphone thing is way more believable to me than the gun. I never even heard of that thing. And like you see the zoomed in videos, and okay, so there's like zoomed in videos of the alleged palm gun with audio, and the audio doesn't match with, you know, when you break it down frame by frame, it doesn't match when he went like this or whatever with his shirt, or he went like this, you know. It doesn't match. So you're saying it's that guy? I mean, maybe I haven't seen the right videos, but the videos I've seen, I watch those like frame by frame, zoomed in breakdowns, and the audio just doesn't match.
Dan Flood and Justin Davis. Justin Davis was driving upwards to 100 miles per hour. I'm going to say he didn't phone Ben Shapiro's or answer the phone call of Ben Shapiro's security to update him because he was focused on the road. That would make the most sense. If the story that Brian Harpole told was true, that leaves us with Dan Flood. Either Dan Flood or Frank Turek were providing updates. But it couldn't have been Frank Turek. I'm sorry, I've lost my mind. Frank Turek left his kids on FaceTime. I'm so sorry. We're playing Guess Who right now. Frank Turek's down. He's down. Remember, his phone, he just didn't even realize while he was praying out loud, his kids were just left on the phone on FaceTime because that's what he was doing. So it can't be Frank.
You know, this is just kind of like, I want to remind you all, like, this is just, have any of you seen Succession? Have any of you seen Succession when, like, the actor who played the father, by the way, is very pro-Palestine, very based. But the father's like dying, and then you have like the kids all speaking to him via speakerphone into his ear. And, you know, I just wonder what Ben Shapiro or his security, if Ben Shapiro was talking directly or if it was just the security and then the security was relaying the information. I wonder, A, what could have been so important that Ben Shapiro's security was called, or they picked up the phone for Ben Shapiro's security. And B, if Ben Shapiro was directly communicating, it's like they hated each other. They literally hated each other. Ben Shapiro hated Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk hated Ben Shapiro. And now Ben is, as he says, taking the blood-stained microphone and waving it all across the United States, effectively buying TPUSA $1 million donation. Yeah, that's a purchase. That's not a donation. You got to wonder why, and what was said. Before you leave, I want to say thank you for the support, because after 2 years of being banned, we are finally back home on YouTube. So be sure to subscribe to our channel and also join as a member on our channel using the link at the top of the description. I rely on the generous support of viewers like yourself to get the truth out to as many people as possible. You can also support the show on Locals or Give Sin Go. The mainstream media and the powers that be are never going to stop attacking us for bringing the truth to as many people as we do. Thank you so much for your support.